Within reason, I support autistic people having a God complex because I feel like somewhere along the way it's important for us to realize that some people really ain't worth 2 seconds of our time. Now, it's said within reason, as long as we're practicing kindness and empathy whenever we can, as long as our confidence isn't linked to punching down, then I do not care if you're self absorbed. My spiritual motto is that we're all a fragment of the divine, and I feel like it's everyone's right to feel like they're the shit in a bag of chips. But I feel like a lot of autistic people need to go through this phase at least once in their life because it gets us out of a self deprecating phase. Growing up autistic is feeling as if you can't do anything right and no one taking the time to explain it to you, so you feel like you're walking on thin ice at any given moment. Especially in America, where a lot of our social norms are based in palm-colored supremacy or capitalism, so we don't really know why we're doing them, they're just good for business. But on paper, they don't make sense, and autistic people kind of pick up on that early because I'm like, why would you do something that would make you so miserable? Or when we try to ask them to explain it to us, they don't really give us an explanation, they just give us a reaction that's gonna say it all, really. But a lot of autistic people move along to get along because we have this image set in our brain that we're going to be the one in the wrong. 5 years of shadow work and I still have that voice in the back of my head, and it comes out when it comes to my relationship with other people because I'm thinking, if I can do it, why can't you? It might sound like I'm just holding someone to the same standards I would hold myself, but in reality, I'm getting angry because I'm like, why can't you figure this out if I could? Which is why I feel like a lot of autistic people, even if they are growing, get upset with other people because it's like, why can't you do this? Why can't you understand this? But it also stems from a trauma response because autistic people were kind of expected to know something that we never got taught, something that never made sense to us. So yeah, I kind of support autistic people developing an ego because I feel like it's every autistic person's right to know what sets them apart from the rest. Not what makes them better, not what makes them superior, but what makes them them. Not specifically about what they can provide, but what they can do. When you get shamed your entire life for how your brain works, there's nothing wrong with learning how to take pride in it. I feel like that's what splits the autistic community down the middle. Once you start peeling back the layers of trauma that came with CPTSD from your experience, it's like you're left with your brain. But even if the brain's healthy, you're still acting out on habits. You're still going to have an overabundance of patience when it comes to people to the point where you can just call it enablement. The most bitter, angry, bigoted person you know is going to be an angel in disguise because you're still going to be thinking about yourself when you were 12 to 13 years old and angry at the world. And God, I remember that time I said that. Because once again, even though we've been infantilized, there was an expectation for a lot of us to know better. Which is why a lot of autistic people have trouble balancing the two. Either they're going to forgive and forget everything, or they're going to hold everyone accountable for the smallest little detail. I support autistic people flexing the fact they know their special interests like the back of their hand, because a lot of people want to come in to question us and belittle us as if we're not capable of understanding anything that we're talking about. So yes, every once in a while I will embrace my inner Sheldon Cooper and I will let someone know that I know more about something than they do. Why? Because I spend a majority of my free time caring about it. So if you want me to entertain this conversation, actually know what you're talking about. I am not going to humor the neurotypicals need to put other people down to feel better about themselves. Sorry. Bunch of grown men with no personality trying to make themselves feel better around women. Oh, who can I single out? Ding, ding, ding. I support the fuck out of pattern readers saying I told you so. Because I'd much prefer you share absolutely no details about your life than you coming into me with these red flags and expecting me to say nothing. I support pattern readers to be free of being stuck in an endless loop. Sometimes in this life, especially as a black, autistic, or queer person, sometimes you gotta be your own biggest fan. There is a bunch of ignorant people in this life. We have a surplus of them, so I feel like it is everyone's best interest to know that they are the shit. Since I find the different way of thinking that autistic people have compared to their neurotypical counterpart to be very valuable for the world and its future, I think that it's our best interest to act like we're gods. Bear witness to this greatness.